Your nationality. You say you from the tribe of Asher, right? So you know, you learning you an Israelite. What about you, big bro?
I'm a runaway slave.
You're a runaway slave, so, okay, is it safe to say that you really don't know your nationality? Meaning, you don't really know, right? Okay, did you know that's in the Bible? Give me Isaiah 1 and 3. I'm going to show you that this Bible is a true book. Now, go ahead.
Y'all Jews? You say y'all Jews?
We the real Jews according to the Bible. Yeah. Yes, the Israelites. We are the people of the Bible.
That's right. So y'all think that when they enslaved us, they planted the Jews down there at the beginning when they enslaved us?
What you mean?
Like basically,
I'm listening.
You don't think that it was some Jews that, you know what I'm saying, like how slavery had started, like they planted it in Africa?
No. All right. So, this is what happened, right? You had everybody that's black not an Israelite, meaning you had some Africans or the Egyptians and the ARABs. They rounded us up in Africa and they sold us to the white man. We're going to get that in the Bible. Give me that in Joel. I'm going to show you what happened in the slave trade, because in school, what do they say? We sold each other, right? That's what they teach, right? But if I ask you, would you sell your mama in slavery? Would you sell your brother in slavery? What about you? Would you sell your mama in slavery? So you know you want to sell your own people, so why would they teach that? It's to cause confusion. It's so you won't know who you are. Give me that Joel.
Joel 3, chapter 3, verse 1. For behold, in those days, and at that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem.
Right, the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, which is the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Go ahead.
I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat.
Why? Because all nations had us in slavery. Go ahead.
And will plead with them for God for my people.
He said he's going to plead with them for his people. Go ahead.
And for my heritage, Israel.
And for my heritage, Israel. So the Lord is telling you who his heritage is. It's the Israelites. Go ahead.
Whom they have scattered among the nations.
Who they have scattered among the nations. We in every country. Black people in every country. Go ahead.
And parted my land.
And parted the land. They parted Jerusalem. That's why you got some so-called Jewish people right now, and the Palestinians fighting over there in Israel. They fighting over that land. Why? Because this is the land that we once had. Go ahead.
And they have cast lots for my people.
They cast lots for God's people. Talking about slavery. That's what we going on with. Go ahead.
And have given a boy for an harlot.
Have given a boy for a harlot. Go ahead.
And sold a girl for wine, that they might drink. Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon?
Right, these are two African nations. What you got to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon? These are the Hamites. These are the Africans that rounded up the real Jews, the so-called Negroes in Africa. Go ahead.
And on the coast of Palestine.
And on the coast of Palestine, no Arabs. You don't think the Arabs know about this history? You don't think the Arabs know that they sold us? But they come over here and they set up shop in our hood, right? They smile in your face and take our money, but they put us in slavery. It's called the sub-Saharan slave trade. Go ahead.
And you will render me a recompense. If you render me swiftly and speedily, without return your recompense upon your own head. Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried unto your temple my goodly precious thing. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have you sold unto the Grecians.
You already said, he said the children of Judah and the children of Israel have they sold to the Grecians. Who are the Grecians today? Who were the Grecians? Who were the Greeks in history? What about you?
Greeks.
Who were the Greeks in history? White people, right? He say they sold us to the Grecians. So when the white man came to Africa, what you think he did? He hooked up with the Palestinians, the Arabs, and the Africans, and they rounded up some Negroes or the real Jews, and they put us in slavery.
Right.
That's in the Bible. And I'm going to show you, give me that Revelation 2 and 9, because who is calling themselves a Jew today? Is it us? Or is this some Caucasians? It's Caucasian people, right?
Exactly.
But according to the Bible, if they would be a Jew, they would have to fit the curses of the Bible. The Jewish man own everything, don't he? He own the hospital. He own the banks, right? He own the record labels, the music. The Jewish man own everything, so how can he be a Jew?
Right.
We're going to show you out the Bible what Christ said about these people. Get that.
I got you. Revelation chapter 2 and verse 9.
Pay attention.
I know thy works and tribulations.
Christ said, I know thy works and tribulations, right? Who going through tribulations right now? Is it us or is it them? We is, right? We suffering tribulations right now, ain't we? Go ahead.
And poverty.
And poverty, right? Who in poverty today? Us, right? We in poverty, right? Go ahead.
But thou art rich.
Well, we are rich because the kingdom and the blessings belong to us. Go ahead.
Right. And I know the blasphemy of them that which say they are Jews.
He say, I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews, right? That means lies. This is Revelations. This is the last book of the Bible. He say, I know them that say or call themselves a Jew, right?
And are not.
Hold on. Christ said they not the Jew. He say, I know some people today in the last days are claiming to be the real Jews.
Right.
But Christ said what?
And are not.
Let's see what they are.
But are the synagogue of Satan.
Now, see, the Bible said they the devil.
Right.
They the synagogue of Satan. So you got some Caucasian people took your identity and called you a nigga and a Latino and say they the real Jews.
Right.
But give me that in Jeremiah 17 and 4.
Bring it out.
That was prophesied in the Bible that we were going to discontinue from our heritage, right? Because if I ask you, what is our heritage? Could you tell me? You couldn't tell me, could you? What about you, bro? What's our heritage? Can you tell me? What about you? You don't know, right? But what you do know, what? It's Christmas, right? You know 4th of July.
Right.
You know Thanksgiving.
Right.
You know all these holidays here in America.
Right.
But what about your holiday? What about your people? Guess what? We're going to show you out the Bible that that's a curse that God put on his people, now I'm saying for the disobedience. Listen to this.
Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thy heritage.
So God told Jeremiah, you were going to discontinue from thy heritage. Meaning, guess what? Your people was going to discontinue from thy heritage. Meaning, keeping the laws of God. Go ahead.
That I gave thee, and I would cause thee to serve thy enemy in the land which thou knowest not.
He said, I will cause you to serve thy enemy in the land which thou knowest not. Now let me ask you a question. Are you serving another nation of people here in America today? What about you, bro? You not serving another nation for nothing? You sure? You sure? We're going to find out. What about you? Are you serving another nation here in America?
Yeah, unfortunately.
So, you agree, and you said you serving God? Let's find out. Let's find out how real this Bible is. Because this Bible been around for thousands of years. Your grandma got it, your mama got it. We all been to church, right? How come the pastor never taught this? Now let's find out if we serving another nation. Remember, God said, I'm going to cause you to serve thy enemy in the land which thou knowest not. We came over here on slave boats, right? Give me Deuteronomy 28 verse 4, is it 48?
Yes.
All right, now listen to this and tell me if you serving. Go ahead.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies.
You remember what God said? He said you're going to serve thy enemies with an S, right? Now, he's going to tell you what you're going to serve your enemies for. And you tell me if you're really serving them. Real?
Which the Lord shall send against thee.
So, God sent the white man against us. God sent the Arab against us. God sent the other nations against us because we broke his commandments. You think they just woke up and said, hey, I'm going to go to Africa. I'm going to round up some niggas and put them in slavery. Why he didn't take the Chinese man?
Right.
Why he didn't take the Arab man? Why he take the blacks and the Latinos? He came over here and took this side of the world first, enslaved the Latinos, then he drugged the niggas over here.
Right.
The so-called Negroes. God said he sent them against us. Let's see what for. Go ahead.
And hunger.
And hunger. Let me ask you a question. Hey, do we own Snooks? Do we own Popeyes? Do we own Arby's? We don't own that, do we? Let me guess. You got to serve your enemies for food. Who own that? Who own that shit over there? White people, right?
The oppressor.
The oppressors. Who own the gas station? Probably the Arab, right? Right, meaning you got to serve them in hunger, in food. Think about slavery. They fed us slop. You have to work all day to get some slop.
Right.
Then you got to work all day in a warehouse or whatever job you got just to buy some milk.
Right.
Milk like what, about $5? Minimum wage for $7, $8? So think about it. You got to work daily all day just to buy some bread and milk.
Right.
God said you're going to serve your enemies in hunger. Read on.
In thirst.
And thirst. What happened if you cut your your water bill? If you don't pay your water bill, what happened to the water?
Cut off.
It get cut off. You agree? You agree with that? If you don't pay your water bill, it gets cut off. Who owns the water company? Who's the oppressor? The white man, right? It ain't Tyrone in the hood, is it? It ain't your brother that owns the water company. Your brother don't own the water company. What about if you want something to drink? Say you worked all day, you want to buy you some liquor. Who you got to go to? The enemy, right? You can't go to your brother and purchase some liquor because we don't own it. You got to go to the so-called other nations or your enemies. God said you're going to have to serve them in hunger and in thirst. Water come out the sky, don't it? Don't water come out the sky? That's a natural resource. But why are we being taxed for it? Why are we being taxed for it? Because God said you got to serve them in thirst. Read on.
In nakedness.
And clothing. Where your clothes made from? What it say on the back of your tag? What do it say?
China.
Made in China, right? What about you? China, Vietnam. It ain't made in the hood, is it?
Right.
It's not made where our people at, is it? It's made over in Thailand, China, wherever else. But hold on, wait a minute. Didn't we pick cotton over 400 years?
Right.
You mean to tell me they didn't give us a free pack of Hanes t-shirts? They didn't give us no stocks in that? Didn't we pick the cotton for that? Didn't we pick the cotton to make Hanes rich? Didn't we pick the cotton to make all this soft style fabric wealthy? Our ancestors did that.
That's right.
You know what they said? Hey, nigga just working by the shirts now. Now you got to get a 9 to 5 and get a paycheck just to buy some t-shirts.
Right.
That your ancestors picked. Keep reading.
In want of all things.
Now he said you got to serve your enemies in want of all things. Let me ask you a question. If you want to buy a car, who you got to go to? The oppressor, which is who?
White man.
The white man. If you want to buy a house, who you got to go to? The white man. Say you want to leave the country, what you got to do?
Go to the oppressor.
You got to go ask the oppressor or the white man, hey, can I, the elites, which is the so-called white man. We're going to deal with the white man today because here in America, they run the world. They run society. But our people in every country, so you got the ARABS, the Chinese, the Arabs, all of them are enemies, but we're going to deal with the so-called white man today. Go ahead.
So what we supposed to do? Like, what we supposed to do to better that? The better.
Okay, that's a good question. I'm going to touch on that so it's up there. So he said, you're going to serve in the want of all things, right? But there's more.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
And he say, he going to put a yoke of iron on thy neck until he have destroyed thee. This is why we don't know who we are.
Right.
This is why we call ourselves African American.
Yes,
now, you had a good question. You said, what are we supposed to do about this, right? Don't you want to know the answer? Don't you want to know the answer? How do we get out this condition? Give me Zephaniah 2 and 1. This is what your pastor should be teaching. But he's not going to teach that. The school system not going to teach you that either. Because remember, they want to keep you a slave.
That's right.
As long as you're a Negro and being a slave in America, they happy. But guess what? The Lord got the answers for you. You're going to learn today what you got to do. Zephaniah 2 and 1.
The book of Zephaniah, chapter 2 and verse 1. Gather yourselves together. Yeah, gather together, O nation not desired.
Now what God just say? He said, gather together, O nation not desired.
That's right.
Now first you got to think. You got to ask yourself, am I really, you know what I'm saying, like desired in this country? What about you? Do you think you desired here in America? What about you? Do you think you desired here? Do you think you loved here in this country or anywhere in the world as a black man? What about you? Do you think you desire? Because one thing we know for sure, that they always talk about black and brown people. When you refer to the ghetto, who do they talk about? The black and the brown people, right? When you refer to the jail system or the poverty, who do they talk about? The black and brown.
That's right.
The Negro and the so-called Latino, the Jews of the Bible.
Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you.
And finally, my brethren, be strong in the